13.
Entonces, si mansedumbre
So if meekness
es aquella serenidad de espíritu
is that serenity of
que es
spirit
pacífica,
that is passive,
que no permite
that does not
que
allow
el enojo, la cólera de otro.
for the anger or the
Mira,
wrath of
hay
someone else.
gente que vive en tanto enojo
There's people
que
that
pelean
live
con
in
ellos
so much
solos.
anger that they fight with themselves.
No, de verdad.
Truly,
Se molestan cuando compran algo porque
they get
después
angry when they buy something because later on,
a veces hacen cosas y no sé para qué hice esto.
sometimes they do things and they say, I don't know why I did this.
No debía haber hecho esto.
I should have not done this.
No debía haber dicho esto.
I should have not said this.
Se enojan tanto
They get so angry
que cuando no encuentran a nadie,
that when they don't find anyone,
se enojan ellos mismos.
they get angry with themselves.
Entonces, eso es peligroso.
So
Amén.
that's dangerous.
Entonces, el Señor
So the Lord,
en Lucas, vaya a Lucas,
I want you to go to Luke
capítulo
with me,
18,
chapter 18,
verso del 9 al 14,
verses 9 to 14.
dice así:
And it says,
a algunos que confiando en sí mismos se creían justos y que despreciaban a los demás, Jesús les contó esta parábola. Dos hombres subieron al templo a orar. Uno era fariseo y el otro era recaudador de impuestos. El fariseo se puso a orar consigo mismo: oh Dios, te doy gracias porque no soy como otros, hombres ladrones, malhechores, adúlteros, ni mucho menos como este recaudador de impuestos. Ayuno 2 veces a la semana y doy la 10ª parte de todo lo que recibo. En cambio, el recaudador de impuestos, que se había quedado a cierta distancia, ni siquiera se atrevía a alzar la vista al cielo, sino que golpeaba el pecho y decía: oh Dios, ten compasión de mí, que soy pecador. Les digo que este y no aquel volvió a su casa justificado ante Dios, pues todo el que a mí sí mismo se enaltece será humillado, y el que se humilla será enaltecido.
to some who were confident of their own righteousness and looked down on everyone else, Jesus told this parable. 2 men went up to the temple to pray. One a Pharisee, the other a tax collector. The Pharisee stood by himself and prayed, God, I thank you that I am not like other people, robbers, evildoers, adulterers, or even like this tax collector. I fast twice a week and give 1/10 of all I get. But the tax collector stood at a distance. He would not even look up to heaven, but beat his breast and said, God, have mercy on me. I am a sinner. I tell you that this man, rather than the other, went home justified before God. For all those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted.
Eso me parece, tú sabes que antes no había Facebook.
You know that before there used to be no
¿Tú
Facebook.
te imaginas a ese fariseo con Facebook?
Do you imagine that Pharisee with a Facebook?
¿Qué es lo que hace mucha gente ahora? Postean
That's what a
todo
lot
lo
of
que
people do
hacen,
now.
o
They
lo que
post everything
tienen,
that
o
they
lo que
do,
son,
or everything that they have, or what they
porque
are,
necesita que otro lo sepa.
because they need others to know it.
Vamos a ver qué, porque dice que la mansedumbre no da lugar a la altivez.
Because it says that meekness will not give a foothold for the haughtiness
Ni a la arrogancia.
or the arrogance.
Ya entendieron qué es mansedumbre,
You
¿verdad?
already understood what meekness is, right?
Altivez.
The haughtiness.
Esto es para los que se han atrevido a sacarle su boca para que se den cuenta de su ignorancia.
This is for those that have dared to say that out
Los
of
que
your
ven y
mouth.
los que están aquí.
For you to notice how ignorant you've been, for those that are watching and those that are here.
Sentimiento de superioridad frente a los demás.
A feeling of being superior before others.
¿Qué provoca un trato distante o despreciativo hacia ellos?
That provokes a distant or a treatment that
Tú
is
eres
not
menos.
worthy, like you are less before those people.
Eso a mí no se me aplica, lamentablemente.
Sadly, that does not apply
Entonces,
to
todo el
me.
que me ha llamado eso tiene que irse a estudiar.
So everybody that has called me that, you got to go and study.
qué cosa, ¿verdad?
What a
Mira,
thing, right?
mira esto.
Look at this.
El Espíritu.
The Spirit.
Mira, este milagro.
Look, this miracle.
No estamos hablando de que le dolía cuando te duele una mano.
We're not talking
no,
about
no.
like it was a hand that
La
was hurt.
ciencia declara
Now,
ya no
science
funciona.
had declared he is not going to function no
Y
more.
Dios dice ahora es que va a funcionar.
And God says now it's that he's going to function.
Atiende esto.
I want you to pay attention
La
here.
sencillez de la fe
The simpleness of the
no
faith,
tiene que ver
it does not have to
con lo
do
que tú enseñas.
with what you show.
¿Sabe? Yo no tengo que hacer mucho alboroto
You know, I don't have to make a lot of noise
para creer que Dios es capaz de hacer un milagro.
to believe that God is capable of doing a miracle.
Entonces, altivez,
So haughtiness,
ya usted sabe lo que es, ¿verdad?
you already know what it is, right?
Entonces, dice que ni arrogancia.
It says not even arrogance.
Dice que arrogancia
It says that
es la
arrogance,
actitud
it's the attitude
de la persona arrogante.
of an arrogant person.
Entonces, una persona arrogante
So an arrogant person
es que muestra soberbia
is that they're showing
y
themselves
trata con desprecio
with superiority, and they treat with despisement towards others.
a los demás.
Towards others.
Entonces, quiere decir que la gente está confundida con lo que es ser una persona arrogante,
So it means that people are confused with what being an arrogant person
con lo que
is,
es ser una persona altiva.
with what a haughty person
Entonces,
is.
La confusión,
So the
tal
confusion,
vez por eso es que no deja que se manifieste mansedumbre en ellos.
that's probably why it doesn't allow it for the meekness to be manifested in them.
Según la palabra, el fariseo oraba consigo mismo.
According to the word, the Pharisees were
¿Sí o no?
praying with their own selves.
Era un
Yes or no?
monólogo,
It was like a monologue
porque Dios no lo estaba escuchando.
because God was not hearing them.
Tener un concepto más alto de ti
Having a higher concept of yourself
no es decir o que tú digas lo que tienes.
is not
Lo
saying,
puedes
or you
hacer.
saying what you have, you can
O
do
decir
it,
lo que has alcanzado.
or saying what you have reached.
Es cuando lo utilizas para hacer sentir a los que están a tu alrededor
It's when you use it to make those that are around you feel
menos que tú.
less than you.
Cuando tú tienes que estar diciendo mucho, Dios me usa,
When you have
Dios
to be
me
saying,
habla,
oh, God
Dios
uses
está
me, God
usándome,
talks to me,
Dios me está
God is using
revelando,
me, God
Dios
is
me está
revealing to me,
esto.
God
Yo
is
quiero
this.
decirte la confusión que tú
I
tienes.
want to tell you the confusion that you have.
A quien Dios le está hablando es a tus cambios.
The one that God is speaking to is to your changes.
Cuando tú tienes que repetir lo que Dios hace contigo,
When you have to repeat what God does with you,
o que la gente piensa y tú quieres que ellos sepan,
or that the people think and you want them to
eso
know,
es altivez.
that's haughtiness.
Porque el que es de Dios, el que tiene unción,
Because the one that is of God and has
no lo
anointing,
dice,
they don't
la
say
gente
it.
lo ve.
The people will see it.
Por eso yo no pido que me respeten,
That's why I don't ask to be respected.
ni me da problema con el que no me respeta.
And it doesn't give me a problem with those that don't respect
Porque
it.
tú tienes que conocer en ti mismo
Because you have to know within
de lo
yourself
que tú eres capaz en Dios.
what you are capable in God.
Mira, alguien dile no justificando.
Look at somebody and say, not
Entonces,
justifying.
cuando la mansedumbre se manifiesta,
So when the meekness is being manifested,
tú no hablas para ti mismo.
you don't speak for
Mira la
yourself.
oración de aquel hombre.
Look at the prayer of this
¿Estaba
man.
discriminando, sí o no?
He was
No soy
discriminating.
como
Yes or
este.
no? I am not like this one.
Yo he escuchado conversaciones entre adultos. Yo por lo menos no hago aquello.
I've heard conversations amongst adults that say, oh, at least I
Pero
don't do
eres peor
that.
que lo que está haciendo aquel porque tu lengua está llena de veneno.
But you are worse than what that other person is doing because you have venom in your
Estás en
tongue.
murmuración.
You are murmuring and gossiping.
¿Sí o no?
Yes or no?
Entonces, no es lo que hace aquel.
So it's not what that
Es
person
lo que
does.
haces tú.
It's what you do.
Mira el que está a tu lado, es lo que haces tú.
Look at the one that's next to you and say, it's what you do.
Tenía guille de santurrión, ¿sí o
He
no?
was acting like he was a saint. Yes or no?
Hermano, ore. Oh, Padre, aquí estamos.
Oh, Father, here we are.
Señor, y te pido en esta hora.
Lord, and I ask you in
Y a
this
lo mejor no
hour.
oro en todo el día.
And probably he had not prayed all day.
Y a veces tú ves que hay gente que hace oraciones por el momento.
And sometimes you see people that will just
Porque
do
una
a prayer
cosa es
for the
hacer las
moment.
oraciones de momento
Because one
y
thing is
otra
to do
es
prayers of the moment.
en todo momento.
And
orar.
another one is to be praying at all times.
Hay gente que sabe orar
There's people that know how to
en
pray
el momento.
in the moment
¿Por qué?
Why?
Porque saben parafrasear las
because
cosas.
they know how to
O sea,
paraphrase things.
tienen una forma, uy, Dios mío, de hablar
They have a way of speaking
que impresiona.
that impresses.
Entonces es peligroso
And it's
porque
dangerous
entonces esa oración no está dirigida a Dios.
because then that prayer is not directed
Mira
to
esto,
God.
Dios dice que Él escucha tu oración, ¿sí o
Look
no?
at this. God says that he hears your prayer.
Entonces tú
Yes or
tienes
no?
que procurar que tu oración
So you have
no
to
haya ni
proclaim for your
altivez ni
prayer
arrogancia.
for there not to be no haughtiness or arrogance in it.
¿Sabe que a veces queremos orar sin pedirle perdón a Dios?
You know that sometimes we want to pray without asking God for forgiveness.
Queremos que Dios nos cumpla. Cuando les pasa una crisis a muchos del ser humano,
We want God to fulfill when a
ahí
crisis
quieren
happens
irse de
in the life of a
rodillas
human
con
being.
lágrimas.
There you want to kneel down
A
with
Dios no
tears.
lo mueven tus lágrimas.
God is not moved by your tears.
Porque Jesús oró
Because Jesus prayed
por Lázaro,
for Lazarus.
pero mientras oraban no lloraba.
But while he was praying, he was not crying.
Él lloró cuando le dieron ¿qué?
He cried when they gave him what?
La noticia.
When they gave him the
Porque era
news.
su amigo.
Because it was his
Pero
friend.
cuando fue, iba con poder y autoridad.
But when he went to him, he was going with
Y lo
power and
digo
authority. And I
por
say
causa
it
de
because
todos
of the
estos
cause of
incrédulos.
all of these
Lázaro,
unbelievers that are here.
salte de ahí.
Lazarus, come out.
No dice que habló en lengua.
It doesn't say he spoke in tongues.
No dice que danzó, no dice que
It doesn't
brincó,
say that he
no
was
dice
dancing or
agárrese de las
jumping.
manos.
He didn't say grab your hands.
Muchas de las oraciones que la gente provoca, vamos a agarrarnos de las
Many
manos,
of the prayers that the people provoke, oh, let's hold hands.
están cogiendo pon con el que tiene la unción.
They are just hitchhiking with the one that has the anointing.
Por eso, cuando tú vas a hacer algo,
That's why when you are going
tú
to do
tienes que
something,
procurar.
you have to
Porque la
proclaim.
gente habla de manso, tú sabes.
Because the people speak about being meek and you know
Mira,
it's like,
de verdad que el que estudia se da cuenta de la ignorancia de un pueblo.
look, truly the one that studies will notice the ignorance of the people.
No era dirigida a Dios.
It was not directed towards God.
Él estaba testificando y justificándose a sí mismo.
He was testifying and justifying his
Porque
own self.
diezmo.
Because I give my tithes.
Porque no soy como aquel.
Because I am not like that one.
Sino que quiero satisfacer mi ego.
If not, I want to satisfy my
Por eso
ego.
cuando tú vas a orar por problemas.
That's why when you're going to pray over problems,
Mira, yo siempre he dicho esto.
look, I've always said this,
Este soy yo.
and this is me.
Yo no necesito un día
I don't need a day
para hacerte un regalo.
to give you a gift.
Yo no necesito ni tu cumpleaños,
I don't need your birthday.
ni día de padre,
I don't need Father's
ni
Day.
día de madre,
I don't need Mother's Day.
ni día de nada.
I don't need any day.
Es más, hay unos días, yo no le regalo a las madres para mi mujer.
I don't give a gift to my
Vamos a
wife
comer
for
porque a ella
Mother's
le
Day.
gusta la comida.
We go out to eat because she loves to eat.
No le regalo en San Valentín.
I don't give her gifts on Valentine's Day.
Ni en aniversario
Or the
tampoco.
anniversary neither.
No.
Nope.
Yo estoy todo el tiempo dando.
I am given to her all the time.
Porque puede ser que esperando al aniversario que viene, ella se muera o yo.
Because it could be a waiting for our next anniversary. She may die or I may
Yo no
die.
estoy diciendo que es malo
I'm
los hijos
not
que le
saying
regalan
that
a
it's
sus
bad.
padres ese día.
The children that give
No
gifts
hay
to their
problema,
parents
no he
on that
dicho que
day.
eso es malo,
No,
que
there's
es
no
que no
problem. I
quiere,
haven't said that
no,
it's bad or
Hazte
that.
una pregunta.
No. Ask yourself a question.
Hazte una pregunta.
Ask yourself a question.
Cuando regalas,
When you give a gift,
¿regalas
do you give a gift
porque quieres impresionar
because you want to impress?
o regalas
Or do you give a gift
porque amas?
because you love?
Mis hijos,
My sons,
con su comportamiento,
with their behavior
sus actitudes
Their attitudes
hacia mi persona,
towards me,
es un regalo de 364 días.
it's a gift for me for 365 days.
¿Sí o no?
Yes or no?
Hágalo usted con el suyo, con
You
su
do it
padre,
with
con
yours
su madre.
too, with your father, your
Hágalo,
mother.
hágalo con su vida.
Do it with your
Porque
life.
la persona mansa
Because a meek person
está pensando en el otro,
is thinking about the other
no en
person,
sí mismo.
not about
Por
themselves.
eso, aquel fue un egoísta.
That's why that person was selfish.
Hay cosas que a veces uno tiene que
There's things that sometimes we have to
pasarlas por encima porque
just pass over top of them.
piense esto, piense
But think about
Piense.
this. Think about this.
piense esto.
Think about this.
Si alguien que usted ama mucho
If somebody that you love a lot
se muere hoy,
dies today,
usted tendría su mente limpia
would you have a clean mind
para estar tranquilo.
to be calm?
¿Tú sabes por qué a mí me tiene que ir bien en la tierra?
Do you know why it
Me
has to go
tiene.
well for me on earth? It has to go well.
Y más ahora que soy creyente.
And even more now that I'm a believer,
Me tiene que ir bien
it
en la
has to
tierra.
go well for
Yo
me
no,
on earth.
no estoy hablando de salvación.
I didn't
no
say
estoy
about
hablando-
salvation. I'm not talking about any
Porque
of
yo
that.
honré a mis padres.
But it was because I honored my parents.
Aún con 55 años.
Even at 55 years old,
Hay hijos aquí que ya
there's
son unos
sons here
viejos.
that are old already.
que sabe que todavía
that you know that you
están
still,
remordiéndose por dentro
you have remorse in the inside
con las actitudes que le hablaron a sus
with the
padres.
attitudes that you spoke back at your parents with.
Yo no.
Not me.
Ah, pero pastor, entonces se está comparando. No, yo no me
Oh,
estoy
but pastor,
comparando.
you are comparing yourself.
Es
No,
que yo
I'm not
creo la
comparing
palabra.
myself. It's
Dice,
that I believe the word.
y te irá bien en la tierra
And it says, and it will go well for you
y
on earth.
tus días serán.
And your days will be,
¿Cuán largo vayan a ser los míos? No sé.
how
pero
long my
aquí
days
estoy.
are going to be, I don't know, but I'm here.
Entonces, era un egoísta, ¿sí o no?
So he was selfish, yes or no?
En cambio,
In exchange,
hay algo. Una persona ególatra
a person that idolizes,
dice que actúa,
it says that the person will act,
escuché bien,
listen well,
con egolatría. Y eso me pide tanta palabra así, tanta egolatría.
oh, being like selfish or having ego.
Tiene una admiración excesiva hacia la propia persona.
They have an excessive admiration towards their own person.
O sea, que te gustas a ti mismo.
So you like your own self.
Una cosa es sentirse bien de quien tú eres.
One thing is for you to feel good of the person that you are.
¿Sabes que yo he llegado? Mire, le estoy educando, iglesia.
I'm
Y a los jóvenes que
educating
están
you, church.
creciendo aprendan
And the
esto.
youth that are growing, I want you to learn this.
Cuando tú tienes que halagar a alguien tanto,
When you have to flatter somebody so much,
hay un problema.
there's a problem.
Uno de los dos
One of the two
está débil en lo que está diciendo.
is weak in what the person is saying.
Tú no tienes que estar mencionando tanto algo de algo.
You don't have to mention so
Cuando
much
tú lo
something
sabes.
about something
Tú
when you know
quieres-
it.
Cuando tú lo repites,
When you repeat
tú
it,
estás tratando de que otros sepan
you are trying to make others know
lo que tú tienes en tu mente.
what you have in your mind.
Y eso es peligroso.
And that's dangerous.
Porque eso es este tipo de persona.
Because that would be being this type of
Dios
person.
no se mueve en ese tipo de
And
cosas.
God does not move in that type of thing.
Yo le he dicho a mucha gente, si tú quieres creer en mí, cree, si no, mijo,
I've said to a lot of people, if you want to believe in me, that's fine. And if you don't,
arranca por ahí para abajo.
you
Porque
could take off.
tú quieres creer en Jesús.
Do you want to believe in
Ahí
Jesus?
está la palabra.
Well, there's the word.
No la creas a través de la gente, créela a través de la
Don't
palabra.
believe it through the people, believe it
Si
through
en
the
cambio
word
el
itself.
publicano oraba
So the Republican was praying
con una actitud de humillación,
with an attitude of
con
humbling,
un espíritu de humildad.
with a spirit of humility.
Cuando a ti alguien te pide perdón y presenta una excusa,
When somebody asks you for forgiveness but presents one excuse,
su perdón es emocional.
that person's forgiveness is emotional.
¿Cómo, pastor?
How, pastor?
Se le quitó el coraje.
The anger went away.
Cuando tú vas a pedir perdón,
When you are going to ask for
tú
forgiveness,
pides perdón por lo que hiciste mal.
you ask for forgiveness for what you did wrong.
That's it.
That's it.
Si el otro hizo mal o no, no es tu
If
problema.
someone else did wrong or not, that's not your
Cuando hay
problem.
una justificación,
When there's a
es
justification,
que por eso es que hay tanto matrimonio en crisis.
that's why there are so many matrimonies in a crisis.
Porque quieren pedir perdón,
Because they want to ask for
pero
forgiveness,
acordándole a su
but
pareja,
reminding their spouse,
tú me provocas.
you were the one that provoked
No,
me.
no, cuando uses esa
No,
expresión,
When you use that expression,
date cuenta
you
que no
have to
es
notice
un perdón de espíritu,
that it's not a forgiveness of the
es
spirit.
un perdón de emociones,
It's a forgiveness of the emotions.
es un perdón de los borrachones.
It's a forgiveness of the drunk people.
Sí, así el borracho. El
Yes,
borracho,
that's how
el borracho
the
se
drunk
pide
people
perdón
are.
el uno al otro,
The drunk
se dan
people
un
will ask
trago
one another for forgiveness and they'll take
y
another
después
drink.
empiezan a acusarse. No, fui yo. No,
And
no
then
fui
they'll
yo.
start
fui yo.
accusing, no, it was me, it was my
Perdón, fui
fault.
yo.
You know, forgive me, it was me.
Sí, vamos a actuar en el espíritu.
So let's act in the
Dios
spirit.
nos está hablando y nos está dejando tantear el milagro.
God is speaking to us and He's allowing us to,
Le está
to see the
diciendo a un
miracles.
grupo, porque
He
es
is
a un
saying
grupo
to a group, because it is a
Que
group,
está orando fuerte.
that is praying very
No que oran en la
hard for
casa,
it.
que están orando fuerte.
that they're not in the flesh, they're praying very
Sí,
hard.
porque la gente llora mucho en mi casa.
Because there's people that say, no, I pray a lot
El
at
día
home.
tiene 24
The
horas.
day has 24
Y
hours.
muchos de ustedes yo les saco el tiempo
And
y
many
yo
of you,
digo
I
por
calculate
mi
your
madre que
time.
no oran 2
And
horas
I say,
diarias.
on my mother, they are not praying 2 hours a day.
No pueden porque el
They
día tiene
cannot,
24
because
horas.
the day has 24 hours.
No, pero yo vine al templo.
Oh, no, but I go to the
Eso es
temple.
congregarse.
That's congregating.
Eso no tiene nada con la oración.
That doesn't have to do anything with the prayer.
Entonces, en cambio, mira lo que dice el verso 13.
Look what it says in verse 13.
El recaudador de impuestos se había quedado a cierta distancia, ni siquiera se atrevía a alzar la vista al cielo, sino que golpeaba en su pecho y decía: oh Dios, ten compasión de mí, que soy un pecador.
it says, but the tax collector stood at a distance. He would not even look up to heaven, but he beat his breast, saying, God, have mercy on me. I am a sinner.
Hay oraciones que tú te justificas
There's prayers where you
diciendo,
justify yourself
Dios,
saying,
te pido perdón,
God, I asked you for forgiveness.
pero fue
But it
que lo
was
que hice
that what I
me
did,
provocaron.
I was provoked.
Fue que fue culpa de aquel,
It was
de
that it was
aquella,
that
del
person's
otro.
fault, this
Tú
person's fault,
sabes
or the
que yo
other.
no soy así,
You know I'm not like
pero
that,
me
God.
provocaron.
But I was provoked.
Déjame darte la noticia que yo vivía ese engaño.
Well, let me give you the news that I was living that deceitfulness.
No, yo soy tranquilo. Si me
No,
provoca,
I'm calm, but if you provoke me,
mentira, yo no era tranquilo.
that's a lie. I
El que
was
es
not
tranquilo,
calm.
aunque lo provoquen, no se mueve.
because the one that is calm, even if he's provoked, he will not move.
A veces nos suceden cosas
Sometimes things happen to
y
us.
Dios hace así un momento.
And God does like this for a
Él no
moment.
las envía,
He doesn't send them.
pero hace así.
But he goes like
Dios
this.
mío, lo va a desenmascarar.
My God, they're going to take the mask off of him. They're going to take the mask off of him. Oh, he took the mask off.
Quien te provoca te desenmascara
The
para
one
que
that
tú te des
provokes you
cuenta de la condición que
Is
tú eres.
taking off your mask so that you can see the condition that you have.
Qué cosa,
What a
¿verdad?
thing, right?
¿Por qué? A
Why?
Jesús, ¿cómo lo podemos entender?
How
A
can we
Jesús le
understand
cubren
it?
la cabeza
They cover Jesus'
y
head.
él dice,
And he says
y él viene y dice
He
lo
says
siguiente.
the following.
Él viene y dice lo siguiente.
He says the following.
Le dicen a él, le
They,
tienen el saco,
they say to him, they
la
have
cabeza
a
cubierta
sack
con un
over
saco,
top of his head.
y le dicen,
And
a
they
que
say,
no adivinas
I guess, go ahead and guess.
quién te dio,
Who will hit you?
quién te está dando.
Who is hitting
Vamos
you?
a que no dice.
Come on,
¿Por
guess
qué
it.
usted cree
Why do you
que
think
Jesús no dijo nada?
that Jesus didn't say anything?
¿Por qué?
Why?
Oh, eso era todo.
That was it.
Jesús sabía,
Jesus knew,
pero no necesitaba caer en la provocación de ellos.
but he didn't have to fall in that provocation
Jesús
that they were doing.
entendía,
Jesus
Pero él no
understood,
se iba a justificar.
but he was not going to justify
Porque si
himself.
él lo llega a hacer,
Because if he would have done it,
entonces la profecía
then the
que
prophecy
decía
that
y
said,
será llevado al matar
and he will taken to be slaughtered,
como una oveja, o sea, como una
Like a
persona íntegra.
like a person of
La
integrity,
mansedumbre.
the meekness.
Por eso es que ahora entiendo todas las manifestaciones más, mucho más claras.
That's why now I understand all the manifestations a
La
lot
humildad es
clearer.
la capacidad
The humility is the
de
capacity
sentirnos pequeños ante los demás.
of being able to feel little before
No unos
others.
culembos,
Not weak people,
pequeños.
small.
A veces tú ves gente hablando,
Sometimes you see
que de eso
people
estábamos
talking.
hablando antier.
We were talking about that
Pero
the
otra
other
gente,
day.
yo no.
But other
Yo no
people,
ando
not
por
me.
ahí haciendo.
I don't walk around doing that.
Se lo digo a ciertas personas que tengo confianza.
I
y
say it to
porque me
certain people
preguntan.
that I trust and because they ask me.
Cuando tú ves a la gente diciéndose lo que compraron y cuánto les costó,
When you see the people saying what they bought and how much they paid for it,
escúcheme bien,
I want you to listen well.
lo que te están diciendo,
What they're saying to
el
you,
90%
90% of
es
it
mentira.
is a lie.
¿Qué tú tienes que estar compitiendo con otros
Why do you have to be competing with
como
others
creyente
as believers
lo que te costaron las cosas?
about what things have cost you?
No hay ahora yo no
There's
estoy hablando
no
que tú
need.
no compartas con un amigo,
And
un
I'm not saying that you're
familiar,
not going to share it with a
amistad. Sí,
friend, a
cuando
family
tú
member.
lo dices, ya,
Yes,
olvídate.
of course, you'll say it and that's it. Forget
Mire, usted
about
no
that.
tiene ni idea de los países que yo he visitado.
But you don't even have an idea of the countries that I have visited.
A lo mejor usted dice, ¿verdad?
You
Y
probably
el
say,
tipo
oh,
no
yeah,
ha
it's
salido
true.
de la esquina.
The guy has not even left the corner.
Imagínate lo que tú quieras.
You can imagine
Pero,
whatever you want.
¿de qué me vale a mí?
But what is it worth to me?
Si yo lo que tengo que ser es como dice la palabra.
All I have to be is like what the word says.
Yo no tengo que sentirme
I don't have to
que
feel
soy más capaz
that I am more capable
de algo contra alguien.
of something against someone else. No, no, no.
Mira, el término griego en realidad,
Look, in
de
the
la
Greek
cual se
term,
traduce humildad,
In the reality of what humility is translated into,
es tapeinos,
that is tapainos.
significa que es algo, míralo bien,
It means, and I want you to look
bajo.
at this very well, it means that it's something that is low.
Por eso la palabra dice,
That's why the word
el
says
que se baja,
that one that goes low,
entonces Dios lo sube.
then God will
El que se sube,
put them up high.
Dios lo baja.
But the one that puts themselves up
Porque
high,
el que
God will
no
bring
quiere
them
ser
down low.
quebrantado,
Because the one that doesn't want to be broken
va a ser quebrantado.
is going to be broken.
Entonces dice Romanos 12:3.
So it says in Romans 12:3.
Mira lo que dice.
Look what it says.
Por la gracia que se me ha dado, les digo a todos ustedes, nadie tenga un concepto de sí más alto que el que debe tener, sino más bien piense de sí mismo con moderación, según la medida de fe que Dios le haya dado.
For by grace given to me, I say to every one of you, do not think of yourself more highly than you ought to, but rather think of yourselves with sober judgment, in accordance with the faith God has distributed to each of you.
¿Por qué tú crees que es que Pablo
Why do you think that it's that Paul,
en sus cartas enseña
in his letters,
y
he
lo habla?
teaches and he speaks about it?
Mira, para Pablo la persona arrogante y altiva,
Look, for Paul, an arrogant and haughty person,
según lo que está enseñando bajo la lupa de él, bajo el
according to
conocimiento de
what
él,
he is teaching, according to his knowledge,
es aquellos que tienen un concepto mayor
it's those that have a higher concept
de lo que son.
than of what they are.
Aquí hay gente que se atreve a decir: yo nunca le he faltado el respeto a nadie.
There's people that dare to say here that they've never been disrespectful to anyone.
Mírese bien,
Look at yourself very well.
Mírese bien.
Look at yourself very
porque usted le ha
well.
faltado el respeto a alguien.
Because you have been disrespectful to
Tal vez a tu
someone.
papá no,
Probably not your parents,
pero a alguien se lo ha faltado.
but you have been disrespectful to somebody.
Dios siempre va a buscar
God is always going to
en
seek
ti.
in you.
No, mira,
Look,
tu actitud.
your attitude.
Mira, hay gente que están tan confundidos,
Look, there's people that are so confused
que tienen una actitud tan fea
that they have such an ugly
cuando
attitude
hablan,
when they
cuando
speak,
se expresan.
when they express
Una
themselves.
cosa es hablar y otra es expresar.
Because one thing is to talk and another
Así
is
dije,
to
para si
express.
pensaste que repetí.
If you thought that I repeated something.
Cuando actúan,
When they act,
tú puedes ver, tú dices,
you can see and you say,
"Bueno, razón nadie quiere estar ahí".
that's the reason nobody wants to be there.
Hay actitudes,
There's attitudes,
expresiones
expressions
que te van a dañar tu mansedumbre.
that are
Entonces,
going to damage
ve,
your meekness.
ve anotando estas cosas y
And
dice,
I
yo
want
voy
you
a
to write
correr eso
down these
porque
things.
es que yo quiero ser un hombre y una mujer de
Say,
Dios.
I want to correct these things because I want to be a
Que
man
yo
or a
quiero
woman of God.
serlo.
I want to be it.
Entonces, hay muchos ministerios
There's many ministries
que están salpicando hoy en día
that are just sprinkling today
porque lo que se han dedicado es
because
a
all they have
imitar
dedicated themselves is to
y
imitate,
se convierten en ministerios arrogantes.
and they convert into arrogant ministries.
Se mueve una moda de algo,
A trend or a
allí
style
la
of
quieren
something
hacer.
moves, but quickly they want to do it there.
se mueve una ola
A wave
y ahí
moves,
se mueven.
and there they want to move it to.
Yo he encontrado que hay lugares
I have found that there's places
que vienen a predicar más predicadores
that more preachers from the outside come to preach
que lo que el pastor predica en la iglesia.
than what that own pastor preaches in his church.
¿Qué será eso?
And what is that?
Que está ocupando tal vez un título
That he's probably occupying a title
que no debería.
that he should not.
O está ocupando un título
Or he is occupying a title
lleno de altivez
full of haughtiness.
y necesita que otros hablen
And he needs others to come and
para él
speak
agarrar el crédito.
so that he could take the credit.
Lo que la gente no entiende es esto.
And what the people don't understand is this.
Escúcheme bien.
Listen well.
La gente no entiende esto.
The people don't understand this.
Yo predico menos.
I preach
Mire esto y no
less.
sé por qué me ha pasado. Y a lo
And look
mejor,
at this.
pues,
I don't know
qué
why
bueno
it
que
has
soy
happened
así.
and how good that that's how I am.
Cuando voy a sitios,
When I go to places,
nunca he podido fluir como fluyo aquí.
I've never been able to flow the way that I flow
Y hay
here.
gente que trata de fluir más afuera
And there's people that try to flow more on the outside
para
of the church,
impresionar.
so that they could impress.
Entonces, eso significa
So that
que
means
sin darnos cuenta
that without noticing,
hay altivez en nosotros.
there's haughtiness in us.
Yo prefiero impresionarlo a usted.
I prefer to impress you.
Ahora, si Dios me hubiera dicho que yo soy evangelista,
Now, if God would have said that I'm an evangelist,
porque ahora esto es como el bachillerato,
because now this is like a
grado
bachelor's,
asociado,
and the associate's degree,
empiezan de una forma y
they
después
start
terminan
one
de
way
otra.
and then they end up in another way.
No entiendo, pero
don't understand,
que Dios
but
sepa, ¿verdad? Si eres profeta, eres profeta.
God
Y si
knows.
eres
If you
pastor,
are a
eres
prophet,
pastor.
you're a prophet.
Sea
If you're
el
a
que
pastor,
sea,
you're a
en el
pastor.
nivel que esté,
No
donde
matter
estés
who it is,
parado.
what
Si
level
eres
you're at, or
pastor,
where
eres
you're
pastor. Y si
standing.
eres
If
profeta,
you
eres
are a
profeta.
pastor, you're a pastor. If you're a prophet, you're a prophet.
Y yo no creo en eso.
I don't believe in that.
La Biblia me enseña.
The Bible teaches
Que
it.
son hombres de Dios o no son de Dios.
That they're men of God or not,
Allá ellos con Dios.
that's on them with God.
Pero si te gusta viajar, ¿para qué quieres ser pastor?
But if you like to travel, why do you want to be a pastor then?
¿Será por el dinero?
Is it because of the money?
Muchos eran evangelistas y se han cambiado a pastor.
Many were evangelists, but now they have changed to be pastors.
Otros eran profetas,
Others were
ahora son
prophets.
pastores.
Now they're pastors.
Otros eran pastores,
Others were pastors,
ahora son profetas.
and now they're prophets.
No entiendo,
I don't understand,
pero la Biblia me
but the
enseña
Bible teaches me
donde yo tengo que tener cuidado.
where I have to be careful.
Todo el que créanme que yo estoy dando rodillas estudiando
Believe
tantas
me
cosas
that I'm hitting my knees and I'm
que
studying
lo
so
que me
many
hace es
things.
enseñarme cuán cerca está Cristo.
That what it makes me know is how close Christ is.
Sí, porque yo tengo necesidad
Why do I have a need
de ir a evangelizar
to go and
y de
evangelize,
allá me traigo un dron.
and from over there I bring a bunch of money?
Si yo lo que voy a ganar alma.
If what I'm trying to do is win over the souls.
¿Tú sabes de quién me gusta la evangelización?
Do you know who I like the evangelization of?
Dos hombres
Of two men
que van a lugares de pobreza.
that go to places of poverty.
Guillermo Maldonado
Guillermo Maldonado
y Harrigan.
and Harrigan.
Y pagan sus propias campañas.
And they pay for their own campaigns that they do.
Porque no van en busca de dinero.
Because they don't go there seeking for money.
Van en busca de almas.
They go there seeking for souls.
La iglesia tiene que abrir los ojos.
The church has to open up their eyes.
A veces critican al hombre que está haciendo el trabajo dentro de una iglesia ahí a palo limpio
Sometimes they criticize the man that is doing the
rescatando tu
job, the
matrimonio,
work inside of the church,
y
being
usted
stern
tan
and rescuing the matrimonies.
ignorante
And you are so ignorant
que se basa en la multitud y no en la multitud de su vivencia.
that you base yourself on the multitude, but not the multitude
No se
of what
pone a
you have
pensar
lived.
dónde está su matrimonio,
You don't
quién
think
lo
about
llevó
where your
allí.
matrimony is, who took you
No se
there,
pone a pensar
You don't
dónde
think
están tus hijos, quién los llevó
about
allí.
where are your children and
Cuando
who
nos
took them there.
preocupamos mucho por lo de
When
afuera,
we worry too much about the exterior
descuidamos
things,
lo interno.
we're uncareful
Por
with what
eso
is
yo puedo
internal.
decir
That's why
que
I can
nuestra
say
iglesia,
that our
la
church,
asistencia de
the
miembros es
attendance
martes,
of
viernes y
members
domingo, no
on
dominguero.
Tuesdays, Fridays, and Sundays is permanent. Not only people that come on
Entonces,
Sunday.
¿qué es lo que te estoy tratando de poner?
So what is it that I'm trying to say?
Hay cosas que van a llegar a tu vida
There's things that are going to come
y
to
tú
your
las
life,
vas a aceptar
and you're going to accept
porque
them
la altivez te ha ganado.
because the haughtiness
La
has won.
mansedumbre.
The
Por eso,
meekness.
deja de estar pensando en la altivez.
That's
el
why you have to
fronte
stop thinking that the
no,
haughtiness
eso
is
es
trying to put
fantoche.
up a front. No,
Eso es fantasmeo.
that's just trying to put up a front that of
Miren,
something
que
that
te
you
va a
are
dar una
not.
bofetada,
Look, whoever's going to give you a slap,
te corre para dártela.
they will chase you down to give it to you.
Por eso a veces te tienen que agarrar.
That's why sometimes they have to grab you
¿Sabes? Este lo va a hacer.
because they know, oh, he's going to do it.
Entonces, en la iglesia,
So in the church,
cuando no hay esa mansedumbre,
when there is no meekness,
tú puedes ver que explotan
you can see that they explode.
los ministerios,
The
los
ministry
manipulean,
explodes. The ministry explodes, but they are
usando la
manipulating,
finanza de otros.
using the finances of others.
¿Sí o no?
Yes or no?
Una cosa es dar
One thing is to give,
y otra es explotar.
and another is to
Hacemos un sacrificio,
abuse of a
viajamos a
person.
algún lugar,
We do a
vamos a un
sacrifice,
congreso,
we'll travel somewhere, we go to a conference.
no se pudo recolectar. Entonces, ¿para qué hiciste el congreso si no tenía los chavos?
We could not collect the amount of money. Well, why did you do that conference if you didn't have the money for it?
Qué cosa, ¿verdad?
What a thing, right?
¿Qué tiene que ver eso con la mansedumbre?
What does that have to do with the meekness?
Todo lo que estoy hablando, porque
Everything
el
that I'm talking
concepto
about.
de mucha gente para
Because the
mansedumbre,
concept of many people for the meekness
cógeme de bobo.
is, oh, you could take me for a fool.
Voy a pasar, cógeme de bobo.
I'm going to go by you. You could take me for a fool.
La mansedumbre
The meekness
es tú preocuparte que otro esté bien.
is you worrying about others
No
doing
solo.
good, and not only worrying about yourself.
El que es manso realmente muestra consideración. Escuche bien.
That one that is meek will show
Consideración a
and
los demás.
demonstrate consideration to others.
Yo nunca me he aprovechado de nadie ni de nada.
I've
Ahí
never
sí te lo
taken
voy a
advantage
decir.
of anyone or anything. There I'm going to say it.
Si yo quisiera,
If I
a mí
wanted
la
to,
gente me ofrece tantas
The
cosas
people offer me so many things.
y a veces quieren hacer
And
cosas
sometimes they want to do things
que si yo fuera un aprovechado,
that if I was somebody to take advantage,
muchachos.
man.
Sin embargo,
But however,
mire, le voy a dar un testimonio.
look, I'm going to give you a testimony.
Se me murieron 2 palmitas en mi terreno.
2 of my palm trees in my land, in my backyard died.
Y esas palmas valen dinero.
And those palm trees, they cost a lot of money.
Dinero. Eso no
A
vale
lot of money.
$50.
They don't cost $50.
Eso vale dinero.
They cost a lot of money.
Mira si valen. Para muchos puede ser la semana de trabajo.
Look if they're expensive. For many of you, it could be your week's salary.
Se me murieron.
And they died.
Yo no dije nada. Y después
I didn't say anything. I just said, well,
algo pasará.
something will happen.
Y me llama un hombre de Dios
And a man of God calls me
con su esposa.
with his wife
Me dice, no, es que
and says to me,
estamos en esta situación
no, it's that we're in this situation
y queremos bendecirte.
and we want to bless
Y
you.
tenemos varias plantas tropicales.
We have various tropical plants.
Y palmas pequeñas o
And we
grandes.
have small or big
Y
palm
queremos
trees.
llevártelas.
And we want to take them to you.
Dinos qué día te las podemos llevar.
Can you tell us what day we can bring them to you?
Sin lloriquear,
I didn't cry to anybody about it.
sin decir
I
nada.
didn't say anything about it.
Pero son gente que han entendido lo que Dios los ha bendecido.
But these are people that have understood how God has
Entonces,
blessed
son
them.
familia
And it's
que
families
entienden,
that understand.
déjame preocuparme de otro
Let me worry about
mientras
others
Dios se preocupa.
while
Oh
God
my
is worrying about.
God. Son gente muy bendecida.
And they are very blessed people.
Sin embargo, yo les tengo un respeto
However, I have such a
y
respect
nunca
for
he
them.
tratado de aprovecharme de
And
nada.
I've never tried to take advantage of anything.
Oh, y ellos no sabían nada.
Oh, and they didn't know anything
No es
about
como,
that.
chico, me pasa esto.
Because if I would have been like, oh, look, this has happened to me.
¿Para qué?
What for?
¿Cómo yo pararme frente al trozo de Andrés?
It's like for me to stand in front of Andres' food truck
Ay, yo llevo 2 días sin comer.
and
men.
say, oh, I haven't eaten for 2 days.
Y es que no tengo chavo, tú sabes.
It's
Si no,
that
yo
I'm broke,
si
I don't
tuviera me
have
compraba algo,
money.
no
Because if
tengo.
I had some money, I
No,
would
hermano,
buy
mejor
something,
mira,
but I
regálame
don't
un
have.
chiste ahí porque estoy pelado.
Look, it's better for me to say, look, give me a gift of a cheesesteak because I have no money.
No hables lo que quieres que otros te den.
Don't speak what you want others to give to you.
No, deja que Dios
Allow
obre.
God to be the one that works.
Y lo que me dio risa
And what I laughed
y me
about,
sentí bendecido
And
de
I felt
parte de Dios
blessed from
es
behalf
que
of
me
God
llamaran.
was that they called me.
Y yo mismo le dije a la
And
persona,
I said to the person myself,
"Diantre,
man,
si usted supiera.
if you only
Y le
knew.
expliqué.
And I explained it
Y
to
la
him.
persona me dijo,
And the person said,
yo te dije a ti
I told you
que lo que usted necesita,
that whatever you need,
usted me llama.
just call me.
Por eso no se le puede decir a todo el mundo.
But you can't say that to everybody.
No, hay
No.
gente que tú no le puedes decir
There's
eso.
people that you cannot say that to
Porque van a pensar en ellos.
because they're going to think only about
Entonces,
themselves.
la comprensión
So the
se
comprehension
define
is defined
como una facultad de capacidad, escuche bien,
as a faculty of capacity
para entender y poder penetrar a la vida de otro.
to be able to understand and penetrate into other people's life.
Entonces, aprender a ser sensitivo
It's learning how to be sensitive
con los demás,
with others.
empáticos. No ser ese tipo de persona que te veo en necesidad
And not be a type of person that I see you in a
y sé que te
necessity
puedo ayudar
and I know that I can help you,
y no te ayudo.
but I don't.
Eso no cabe en el corazón. Por eso
That
la
doesn't fit in the heart.
persona mansa.
That's why a meek person,
Escucha bien,
listen well,
cuando descubre,
when they discover,
uy, lo que voy a decir aquí es
what I'm going
fuerte.
to say now is hard.
Cuando descubre,
When they discover,
escúchame bien,
listen well,
lo que le está pasando en su vida
what is happening in their life
por causa de
because of
o de alguien,
or of someone,
aprende a bendecir.
they learn how to bless.
No porque quiere. Mira, hay gente que a lo mejor tú le vas a regalar dinero y te va a decir, no, el dinero no me hace falta.
Look, there's people that you're probably going to give them a gift of money and they're
Pero
going to
te
say,
lo van
I
a
don't need
dar
the money, but they're going to give it
Porque
to you
ellos han entendido.
because they have understood.
¿Sí o no?
Yes or
Sí,
no?
porque hay gente que te va a invitar a un café, un café, un café. Dame
Because
algo más.
there's people that are going to invite you to a coffee, a
Yo no
coffee,
estoy
a
diciendo a
coffee.
mí.
Give me something else. And
¿Entiendes?
I'm not saying this for me. I want you to
Ah,
understand.
yo no tengo que pedirte a ti nada.
I don't have to ask you for anything.
Nada te tengo que
I
pedir.
don't have to ask you for anything.
Quiero que lo aprendas para ti
But I want
y
you to
para
learn it
las
for
otras
yourself
personas.
and for others.
Hay gente que te ha bendecido,
There's people that have blessed
no soy
you,
yo,
that it's not me,
que tú nunca
that you
has hecho un
never
sacrificio por ellos.
have done a sacrifice for them.
Hay gente que te salvó
There's people that have saved you.
tu matrimonio.
They saved your
Y lo único que
matrimony.
tú le has dicho es
And the
gracias.
only thing that you have said is
Y
thank
está
you.
bien, si
And
no
it's
tienes,
okay.
pero hay muchas
If you
cosas
don't
que se
have,
pueden hacer
But there's
de
many other things that
agradecimiento,
you
no
could
tiene
do
que ser
of
dinero.
thankfulness. It doesn't have to be
Pero
money.
hay muchas formas
But there's many
de
ways
tú dejarle entender a
of you
otro.
allowing others to
¿Sabes
understand.
qué?
You know what?
Un buen texto,
A good
una
text
buena
message, a
llamada,
good phone call,
un
a
agradecimiento.
thankfulness.
¿Sabes? Acuérdate de esto siempre.
Always remember this.
Lo que quieres que hagan contigo,
What you want to be done with you,
hágalo con los demás.
do it with others.
Hágalo con los demás.
Do it with others.
Aprende a preocuparte.
Learn how to worry.
Mira, los dos enemigos de la comprensión más fuertes,
Look, the two biggest enemies of comprehension,
tradición
tradition
y el legalismo.
and being legalistic.
Es difícil.
It's difficult.
La gente se enoja conmigo,
People get angry with me,
pero no se enojan con los mensajes en YouTube.
but they don't get angry with the messages on YouTube.
¿Sí o no?
Yes or no?
La gente no se enoja cuando dicen algo, pero se enoja
The people
conmigo.
don't get angry when they say
Ahora
something over there,
pregúntale
but
al
they
de
get angry
YouTube.
with me. But now ask the one of YouTube
Si él es el que ora por ti.
if he is the one that prays for you.
Si él es el que tú le pides 5 minutos.
If he's the one that you ask for 5 minutes.
Si él es el que cuando está en la necesidad aparece y dice, aquí estamos como Superman, vámonos, que
If
es
he
tarde.
is the one that appears in your necessity and says, come on, I'm here, like
Y
Superman.
vuelvo y te repito, no tiene que ser el
And
pastor.
I repeat it again, it doesn't have to be
Hay
the pastor.
gente en tu vida
There's people in your life
que te han agarrado.
that have grabbed
Entonces
you.
aprende a ser una persona comprensiva con ellos.
So you have to learn how to be a understanding
Mira,
person
yo
with them.
recibo regalos
Look, I receive
que
gifts
me desprenden mi corazón.
that they just
Porque
break my
porque
heart.
puedo saber que vienen con
Because I
deseo,
can know
con
that
el
they come with the
corazón.
desire, with the heart for it.
¿Sabes? Que tú puedes darte cuenta que están agradecidos.
That you could notice that they are thankful.
Ahora mismo esa llamada,
Right now,
eso, a
that
mí
phone
me, eso
call,
a mí me descompuso.
You know, that just broke me down.
Porque yo dije, ¿cómo?
Because I said, but
¿Por qué,
how?
¿Por qué llamarme?
Why calling
Y
me?
así me dijo, es que me viniste a la mente.
And that's how he said, you came to my mind.
Entonces, ¿se va a quedar Dios con los brazos cruzados?
So is God going to stay with his arms crossed?
Allá en el reino ese.
Over there in the kingdom, he's going to say,
Multiplícamele a él.
oh, multiply it for
Multiplícamele en
him.
sus
Multiply it
negocios.
for him in his businesses.
Eso mismo hace Dios.
And that's exactly
lo que
what God
pasa es que
does.
tenemos que entender.
What happens is that we have to
¿Sí o
understand.
no?
Yes or no?
Pero para esto necesitamos esa aceptación,
But for that, we need to accept.
que es que podamos recibir voluntariamente, escuche bien,
That is that we're going to be able to
lo
voluntarily
que Dios está
receive
haciendo en ti
what God is doing in you,
y que lo que tú haces
and what you do,
lo ofreces
you offer
no
it,
para montar carga a alguien.
not to put any burdens on someone else.
Claro,
Of
hay
course,
cosas ya que tú no puedes hacer.
There's things
Porque
that
si
you
hay
can no
algo que
longer
estamos
do.
claros, que hay gente que tú los ayudas dejando de ayudarlos.
because if there's something that we're clear with is that there's people that if you stop helping them, you would be doing them a
Pregúntale a mi
favor
esposa, yo
and helping them.
gasto dinero, yo cuando quiero hacer algo lo hago.
You can ask my wife.
no
I
soy de los que
spend
está al
money, and when
otro
I want
día,
to do something, I do it.
ya,
And
eso lo
I'm
hacía
not
cuando me emborrachaba.
like others that on the next day, you know, I'm like, man,
Diante, lo
I
que
would do
gasté,
that when
tremenda
I would go
diablo.
drinking. I would say, oh, I spent so much, I rebuked the devil.
Pero aprendí algo.
But I learned something.
También he aprendido
I've also learned
a financiar mi finanza. Mire esto.
to finance my
Y
finances
administrar
and
lo que
administer
Dios me ha dado
what God has
sin
given me
desperdiciarlo.
without wasting it.
Porque entiendo que Él
Because I understand that
me va a
He
seguir dando.
is going to continue to give to me.
Es como la salud.
It's like health.
Si te comes algo que te hace daño,
If you eat
no le ores a
something
Dios
that
que
is
te sane.
damaging to you, you can't pray to God to heal you
Si tú lo sabes.
if you already know it.
¿Sí o no?
Yes or no?
Si sabes que algo te está lastimando,
If you know that something is hurting
no
you,
lo comes después, Padre bendice,
don't eat
Padre
it.
bendice,
Don't eat it and
Padre
say, oh,
bendice,
Father
Padre
bless,
bendice,
Father bless,
Padre- No.
Father bless, Father bless.
No va a
No,
bendecir nada.
He's not going to bless anything.
Entonces, Jesucristo aceptó a la samaritana porque ella en realidad
So Jesus Christ accepted the Samaritan woman because she in reality
era una persona de necesidad espiritual,
was a person of spiritual necessity,
o la aceptó porque él quería aceptarla.
or did he accept her because he wanted to accept her?
Él sabía que había una necesidad en ella.
He knew that there was a necessity in her.
Ella no lo sabía.
She didn't know it.
Aquí es donde usted tiene que entender
And this is where you have to
que a veces
understand
yo le digo cosas, pero usted no la acepta porque usted no se da cuenta.
that sometimes I say things to you, but you don't
Pero
accept
quien me
them
lo está
because you don't
revelando es
notice
Dios.
it. But who's revealing it to me is
Esta es la
God.
condición de X persona.
This is the condition of
Esto es lo
such
que le
person.
pasa, esto es lo que
This
no
is
lo
what's
deja
going on.
crecer,
This is what
esto es lo
doesn't
que no
allow
lo
them to
deja
grow.
avivarse,
This is
esto
what
es lo que
doesn't
no le
allow
deja que
them
la
to
unción
revive
llegue.
themselves and doesn't allow the anointing to come.
Pero no lo aceptan
But they don't accept
porque
it
no son mansos.
because they're not meek.
¿Cómo, pastor?
How, pastor?
Porque su altivez interna le hace
Because
sentir que tienen un
Their
espíritu
internal
mayor
haughtiness makes them feel like they have a spirit that is greater
del que realmente tienen.
than the one that they truly have.
Y tú lo ves que fracasan en lo mismo.
And you see that they
En lo
fail
mismo.
in the same things,
En
the
lo
same
mismo.
things, the same
Porque nunca
things.
quieren aceptar.
Because they never want to
Yo
accept.
todavía no comprendo
I still don't
cómo hay gente
comprehend
que dice que el problema en ellos fue la iglesia,
How the problem in them was the church.
pero ellos no crecen ni aunque Cristo le predique.
But they don't grow, not even if Christ is the one that's preaching to them.
Entonces no es la iglesia,
So it's not the church.
el problema es la gente.
The problem is the
Entonces,
people.
dice el verso 19
And verse 19
en Juan
says,
4,
in John 4,
Señor, me doy cuenta que tú eres profeta. Nuestros antepasados adoraban en este monte, pero ustedes los judíos dicen que el lugar donde debemos adorar está en Jerusalén. Jesús le dice, créeme, mujer, que se acerca la hora en que ni en este monte ni en Jerusalén adorarán ustedes al Padre. Ahora ustedes adoran lo que no conocen. Nosotros adoramos lo que conocemos, porque la salvación proviene de los judíos. Pero se acerca la hora y ha llegado ya que los verdaderos adoradores se rendirán ¿en qué?
Sir, the woman said, I can see that you are a prophet. Our ancestors worshipped on this mountain, but you Jews claim that the place where we must worship is in Jerusalem. Woman, Jesus replied, believe me, a time is coming when you will worship the Father neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem. You Samaritans worship what you do not know. We worship what we do know, for salvation is from the Jews. Yet a time is coming, and now has come, when the true worshipers will worship the Father in the Spirit and in truth.
Verso 7
Verse 7
y 9, de ahí mismo.
and 9, right there.
Mira, tú no te has encontrado hombres que dicen, no, yo no saludo a la mujer con la mano, no la
Haven't
toco,
you said, yes,
porque no quiero que piensen mal.
haven't you found yourself with
No, lo
men
único que está
that
pensando
say,
mal
no,
eres
I
tú.
don't shake any woman's hand, or, you
El
know,
del
I
problema
don't
eres
greet
tú.
her because I don't want them to think bad. No, the
Pero
one
claro,
that has the problem is you.
no la vas a saludar.
Of course, you're not
¿Cómo
going to
está,
say hi to her.
hermana?
Oh,
Ay,
how
Dios,
are you,
hermanita.
sister? Oh, my God,
Ay,
sister.
Dios,
How
hermana.
are you doing?
¡Guau!
Oh, sister.
No la vas a saludar
No,
así.
you're not going to greet her that way.
Pero ¿por qué tienen miedo de darle un beso a una mujer?
But why are you scared of kissing a woman
Si es
in the
nuestra
cheek?
cultura.
That's our culture.
O darle la mano.
Or
Si a ella no
shake
le
a
gusta,
woman's
está
hand.
bien, no hay
If she
problema.
doesn't like-
Hermana, ¿cómo
well,
está?
shake her
Bendecida.
hand. Sister, how are you doing? Be blessed.
Hermana bendecida, ¿cómo
Sister,
está?
be blessed. How are you doing?
Jesús no rechazó a aquella mujer.
Jesus did not reject that
El
woman.
verso 7 dice,
Verse 7 says,
sus discípulos habían ido al pueblo a comprar comida. En eso llegó a sacar agua una mujer de Samaria. Jesús le dijo, dame un poco de agua.
his disciples had gone into the town to buy food when a Samaritan woman came to draw water, and Jesus said to her, will you give me a drink?
La mujer sabía
The woman knew
que el judío y el samaritano no lo mezclaban.
that the Jews and the Samaritans did not mix.
Sin embargo,
However,
él le dice, dame agua.
he says, give
Los
me
hombres
water.
de Dios provocan que otro hable.
The men of God will provoke others to talk.
Los hombres de Dios
The
van a
men of God
enseñarte
are going to teach you
cómo se camina.
how
Los
to walk.
hombres de Dios te
The
van a
men of God
enseñar
will
cómo
show
se
you
habla.
how
Los
you
hombres de
speak.
Dios te van a
The men
enseñar la
of
realidad
God
del
are going to
Espíritu.
show you the reality of the Spirit.
Y él le dijo,
And he said,
ella le dijo, pero tú me pides agua.
she said, you're asking me for water?
Si el judío, el samaritano,
The Jews and the Samaritans.
él no le dijo ni que era judío, ni él no le dijo nada.
He didn't tell her
Mira lo
that
que él le
he was a
dice.
Jew. He
Si
didn't say
tú
anything.
supieras quién te está pidiendo agua.
He said, if you only knew who is asking for the water.
Me parece a veces cuando
It
la
seems to
gente
me
no entiende una exhortación,
Like sometimes when the people don't understand
cuando alguien uno a uno tú le dices,
an
este es tu
exhortation,
problema,
or when you say on a one-on-one, this is
y
your problem
ellos
to
no
somebody.
pueden entender.
They cannot
¿Saben por
understand.
qué?
You know why?
Porque no han conocido la deidad de Dios
Because they still have
todavía.
not known the deity of God yet.
La gente está confundida,
People have
Manuel.
gotten confused, Manuel.
La gente se cree porque Dios le da dos usaditas.
People think that because God uses them
Porque
two
Dios
times,
le habla.
because God talks to
Mira,
them.
Dios le habla al diablo.
Look, God talks to the devil.
Los regaña.
He scolds him.
No te dejes llevar por lo que ha sido usado.
Don't allow yourself to be taken by what you have
Porque
been
Judas
used
fue
in.
usado en un momento
Because
dado.
Judas was used at a certain moment too.
¿Sí o no?
Yes or no?
Saúl fue usado en un
Saul
momento.
was helped used at a certain moment.
El faraón fue usado en un
The
momento.
Pharaoh was used
de
at a
parte
certain
de
moment
Dios.
on behalf of God.
Procura
Just proclaim
que tu caminar
that your walk,
diario,
daily
no
walk,
a veces,
not
diario,
sometimes, daily walk
vaya acompañado de Dios.
is accompanied by
Entonces
God.
vas a ver la diferencia.
And you're going to see the difference.
Jesús le dijo, no, tranquila mujer.
Jesus said, be calm,
Porque el
woman.
problema es que tú has hablado con muchos hombres,
Because the problem is that you've spoken with a lot of
pero
men,
no con uno como yo.
but not
Fue lo
like,
que él le quiso
with
decir.
one like me. That's what he meant to say.
No hay nada que pueda detener,
There's nothing that
ni
can
por
stop.
su situación.
Not because of
Allí
her
llegaron los
situation.
amigos,
There came his
los
friends,
discípulos.
the disciples.
Este está solo con una mujer ahí.
He's alone with a woman there
Porque ellos estaban pensando lo que ellos eran.
because they were thinking about what they were.
Ellos, mira, la persona que siempre llega con el pensamiento de lo que quiere hablar,
Look, a person that always
Está
arrives with the thought
contaminado
of what they
consigo
want to
mismo.
speak, they're contaminated within their own soul.
porque siempre va a ver lo que está pensando,
Because
no
they're
la
always
realidad
going
de
to
lo que
see
está
what they're
sucediendo.
thinking and not the reality
Oh my
of
God,
what
si
is
no
happening.
entendiste eso
If you
ahora.
didn't understand that one now,
¿Sabe? Allí a que me convertí soy un pillo.
you know, I converted, but I'm a thief.
Una cartera aquí
There is a wallet there.
o acá adentro.
We're in here,
Y me ven que estoy mirando.
and they see that I'm looking in there.
Allá está el espiritual.
Oh, there comes a spiritual one.
La cartera, vete con
Oh, your wallet, go get it.
que de eso fue que Dios lo libró.
Because that's what God delivered him from.
Y a lo mejor el tipo ni ha visto la cartera.
And probably the guy has not even seen the wallet.
Pero Dios te está enseñando a ti.
But God is
Todavía
showing you.
tus ojos siguen viendo lo
Your
que tiene tu
eyes still
corazón.
continue to see what your heart has.
Por eso yo nunca he estado en problemas.
That's why I've never been in
Yo te
problems.
puedo ver en un árbol allí,
I can see you up on a tree,
sin ropa,
naked,
y
without
nadie se va a
clothes,
enterar por mí.
and nobody's going to
Eso
find
no
out
es mi
about it through me.
problema.
That's not my problem.
Si algún día tengo la oportunidad, te pregunto.
If someday I have the
Oye,
opportunity,
un día
I
te
will
vi,
ask you.
un día te vi en el palo trepado allí.
You know, one day I saw you up on a tree.
¿Qué diablo tú haciendo?
What the devil were you doing naked?
Pero te pregunto a ti.
But I'll ask you.
No me voy por ahí.
I will not go
Muchacho,
around and say, oh,
ja,
listen,
siéntate ahí.
sit down.
No, porque no me estoy preocupando
No, because I'm not
por esa
worrying
persona.
for that person.
No tengo el corazón,
I don't have the
la
heart,
responsabilidad.
the responsibility.
No tengo el interés.
I don't have the
No
interest.
tengo la
I don't
mansedumbre
have the meekness
para entender
to
que
understand
algo provocó
that
que aquella
something
persona
provoked for that
estuviera
person
desnuda allí.
to be naked there.
Y esto lo sigo diciendo.
And I continue
Una
to
vez yo
say
estaba
this.
sentado en una barra
I was once sitting in a bar.
del restaurante, ¿cómo es que se llama? Bahama Breeze.
I was sitting at the bar in the Bahama Breeze
Porque no había
restaurant
mesa para esperar y estaba muy lleno.
because there were no tables to wait for and it was too
Como
packed.
si de la barra a la mesa no es lo mismo que te den de beber allí
Like
y aquí.
if from the table to the bar or the bar to the table is not the same, that they could take you a drink.
Aquella persona dijo,
And that person said,
vi a fulano.
I saw this
Y
person.
todavía hay gente que lo tiene en la cabeza.
And there are still people that have that in their head.
Vi a fulano.
I saw this person.
Y déjeme decirle,
And let me tell you,
en Quina Procha,
that was in Kina, Prussia.
¿Sabes? Te voy a adulterar y te voy a pasar la mujer por aquí.
You think that I'm going to adulter and I'm going to just walk by here with the woman.
¿No entendiste lo que te digo? Te lo tengo
Did
que
you
explicar.
understand what I said, or do I have to explain it?
¿Cuántos de ustedes van al mall de King of Prussia?
How many of you go to the mall of King of Prussia?
Entonces,
So well then.
allí vi a fulano sentado en el bar.
Oh, there I saw such
Ahí
and
lo
such. She was
dejó.
sitting at the bar, and she left it
Los
there.
demás pensaron
And the rest
que estaba bebiendo.
thought that I was drinking.
Nunca me defendí,
I never defended myself.
ni hice nada,
I never did anything
porque yo aprendí esto.
because I learned this.
Yo no me tengo que defender
I don't have to defend myself
de lo que yo sé que yo soy.
of what I know that I am.
Si alguien
If anyone
me agarrase fuera de
were
base
to grab me out of base
y me corrige,
and I'm corrected for
amén.
it, amen.
Pero si lo promulga,
But if they start spreading it
que le ore a
around,
Dios que yo no lo coja.
they can pray to God that I don't catch them.
Sí, porque si ya me vas a hacer daño,
Because if you're going to hurt me or damage me,
vamos a ver si es verdad que tiene las babillas.
let's see if you have the guts.
Ya me dañaste.
Because you already damaged me.
Un dañito más,
A little more
un
damage,
escrachadita más.
you know, another scratch.
¿Sí o no? ¿Me entiendes?
Yes or no? Are you understanding
Haga
me?
eso, aprenda.
You have to do that. You got to
Cuando
learn
ves a
it.
otro, cuando tú eres manso en el espíritu,
When you are meek in the spirit,
tú necesitas
you need
entender
to understand
lo que es confianza.
what trust is.
Esta se define como esperanza
This is defined like
realmente
hope. Truly,
que tú
truly.
tienes en una persona.
The true hope that you
Cuando
have in
tú
a
no
person.
puedes ver con ojos
When you cannot see
a alguien
with
verticalmente todo el tiempo
when you can't see somebody vertically all the time with your
por
eyes
lo que su vida fue,
because of what their life was,
el que está virado eres tú.
the one that is twisted is you.
No te lo van a aceptar.
They're not gonna
Mire, yo he
accept
conversado con más de 10 personas. No te lo van.
I have
Los mata y no te lo
conversated
aceptan.
with more than 10 people. You could kill them and they're not going to accept it.
Mujer, cuando usted decida perdonar a su esposo,
Woman, when you decide that you're going to forgive your husband,
no mencione más el tema.
don't mention that topic anymore.
Hombre, cuando usted decida perdonar a su esposa,
Man, when you decide to forgive your
no
wife,
mencione más el tema.
don't mention that topic
Si yo tengo
anymore.
que estar acordándote lo que tú eres o pensar por lo que hiciste,
If I have to be
El enfermo
reminding
eres
you
tú.
what you did and think for what you did, you're the
mentalmente
person that is sick
tienes
mentally.
problemas. No hay esa mansedumbre.
You have a problem. There's no meekness in you.
No fue. ¿Quién escogió a Pablo?
Who chose Paul?
Me parece que usted parece que lee versos, pero no los lee
It
completos.
seems like you read the verses, but you don't read them completely.
¿Quién eligió a Pablo?
Who chose Paul?
Se le apareció.
He appeared to Paul.
Ahora, antes de que él se le apareciera, ¿qué era Pablo?
Now, before he appeared to Paul, what was Paul?
Perseguidor de la iglesia.
He was the persecutor of the
¿Sí o
church.
no?
Yes or no?
Atienda lo que le voy a decir
You
para
got
que
to
usted
pay
se dé
attention
cuenta
to what I'm
de
going to
su
say
llenura.
so that you could notice your fullness
Cuando él llega,
when he arrives.
¿quiénes son los primeros que lo quieren matar?
Who are the first ones that want to kill him?
¿Ha leído la Biblia? ¿O
Have you read the Bible, or
quiénes eran?
who were they?
¿Quién? Pero bendito sea Dios, dímelo duro.
Say it loud.
Los discípulos.
The disciples.
Ahora, si ellos estaban llenos de Dios, ¿por qué no pudieron discernir
Now, if
de
they were
espíritu
full
a
of God,
espíritu
why
que
weren't they
Pablo
able
estaba
to
lleno
have
de
discernment
Cristo?
spirit to spirit that Paul
Te
was
digo
full
por
of
qué.
Christ? I'm going to
Porque
tell you
todavía
why.
no estaban llenos.
Because they still were not full.
Por eso es que hay gente que te sigue viendo
That's why there's people that continue to see
con la
you
mente de ayer.
with the mind
Porque
of
están
yesterday
vacíos.
because they are empty.
Ellos piensan que
They
están
think
llenos.
that they're full.
No digamos entonces
Let's not
que el
say then
Espíritu da
that the
testimonio
Spirit bears
de lo que es
witness
del Espíritu.
of what is of
Si
the
yo no
Spirit.
puedo discernir
If I
lo que
cannot
está
have
en tu
discernment
Espíritu,
of what
es
is in your
porque yo
spirit,
tampoco tengo nada en
It
el
means
Espíritu.
because I don't have anything in the Spirit neither.
Entonces, eso ya vamos a terminar casi, ¿verdad?
And we're about to
Lo que
finish.
pasa
What happens
es que la gente confunde.
is that the people confuse.
Pablo fue discriminado por su pasado.
Paul was discriminated because of his past.
Entonces, ahora Pablo tenía un problema.
Now Paul had a
Se
problem.
tenía que esconder de los cristianos y del mundo.
He had to hide from the Christians and also from the world
Porque el mundo lo perseguía para matarlo
because the world was persecuting him to
y
kill
los
him.
cristianos no creían en él.
And the Christians were not believing in
¿O
him.
no fue lo que pasó? Le ha hecho
Wasn't that what happened?
9:26.
You got to reach Acts 9:26.
Todo el mundo le tenía miedo
Everybody feared him
porque estaba lleno de fariseos.
Because he was full of Pharisee,
a donde él llegó.
of Pharisees where he
La
arrived.
gente mira, la gente que no puede discernir
Look, the people
te
that
van a
cannot
marcar
have
con tu
discernment,
pasado.
they're going to mark you with your
de
past
por vida.
for life.
Pero ellos son los que sufren.
But they're the ones that suffer
Porque tú sigues cantando como decía aquel.
because you continue to sing like that one would
Aquí
say.
no ha pasado
Here,
nada.
nothing has happened.
Si no le suelta como aquel otro.
If not, you could release like that other one would sing.
Aquí estoy.
Here I am.
Ya yo llegué.
I have arrived.
Algunos me creían
Some
muerto,
believe that
pero
I was
que
dead.
va.
Well,
¿Sabe cuál es el problema, iglesia?
do you know what the problem is, church?
Esto que acabo de hacer
This that I just did,
para el religioso,
for those that are
para el que
religious,
está medio vacío,
for those that are a little empty,
es una carnalidad.
is something
No,
that is
hermano,
a
las
carnal
canciones
thing.
no es el problema.
But no,
El
brothers,
problema es
the
la
song is
letra
not
que
the
tú te
problem.
metas al oído.
The problem is what words you put in your ears.
No vaya para su luna de miel, lo espiritual.
Those that are spiritual, when you go to your honeymoon,
Le ponen la canción.
you could put the song on.
Paz en la tormenta.
You can have peace in the middle of the storm.
Y puedes
And
tener
you can have peace
paz en la tormenta.
in the middle of the
¿Sí,
storm.
no? Sales corriendo.
And then you'll just leave running.
¿Cuál es la que dice esta canción le entona mi corazón?
What is the song that says I tuned this song
Mire,
in?
¿sabes algo?
You know something?
Abre los ojos, yo te quiero ayudar.
You have to open up your eyes. I want to help you.
Yo no te estoy mandando a pecar. Si pecas te lleva el
I'm
diablo.
not telling you to go
Te
and
va a
sin, because
dejar
if
por
you
las
sin, the
patas, te va
devil
a
is going to
arrastrar
take you.
y te va a llevar
He's
al
going to grab you
infierno.
by the legs and he's going to drag you to hell.
El problema
The problem.
es que, mira, hay gente,
Look,
hay
there's
gente
people.
que yo
There's people that
todavía.
I
Yo no
still.
me hago- hay gente que yo no me hago ni un chiste frente a
There's
ellos.
people that I don't even say a joke in front of them.
Me van a mí,
They're going to look at me
pero
like,
él no es el pastor.
but isn't he the pastor?
Dios mío.
My God.
No te pienses que le voy a hacer chistes pornográficos.
I don't want you to think that I'm going to do
Para aclararte la mente
any
también.
pornographic jokes. I want to make that clear, make your mind clear.
¿Quién es el único que tiene confianza en Bernabé?
Who's the only one?
Se los dije, en Pablo.
Who's the only one that trusted Paul? I said the answer. It was Barnabas.
Ahora, ¿por qué Bernabé
But
tuvo
why
el
was
valor
Barnabas?
de
He was
decirle, ven acá, varón,
brave enough to say,
dale
come
la
here, man.
changuería a esta gente?
Let's stop the childishness with these people.
Y se lo llevó a los
And
discípulos.
he
Y dijo,
took him to
mira,
the
ese es de
disciples.
bobera.
And he said, look, stop with that foolishness.
¿Por qué? ¿Por qué?
Why?
Ahora, ¿por qué Dios no le habló a los discípulos?
And why didn't God speak to the disciples?
Porque tú tienes que entender que a veces en tu corillo
Because you need to understand that sometimes in your group,
siempre está el que tiene una opinión
you have one that always has an opinion
para resaltar lo que ellos creen.
so that they can make stand out what they're believing in.
Tuvo que buscar a Bernabé porque Bernabé le
He had to
creía.
go and get
Y fue
Barnabas
allá
because
todo mira, ustedes
Barnabas
con
was
título,
believing in
con
him.
todo y no han
And he
discernido
said, you
que
with
a
all the
este lo
titles you
llamó
have,
Dios.
you have not been able to have discernment that he was called by God.
Entonces Bernabé lo tomó a su cargo y lo llevó a los apóstoles. Saulo le describió en detalles cómo en el camino había visto al Señor, el cual le había hablado y cómo en Damasco había predicado con libertad en el nombre de Jesús.
But Barnabas took him and brought him to the apostles. He told them how Saul on his journey had seen the Lord and the Lord had spoken to him, and how in Damascus he had preached fearlessly in the name of Jesus.
Tú tienes que tener cuidado
You have to be careful
dentro del discernimiento.
inside of the discernment,
Porque hay muchos creyentes
because there's many believers
que te van a discriminar
that are going to discriminate
aún
even
dentro de la iglesia
inside of the church
por lo que tú eras.
because of what you were.
Si llegase el galán
If the man were to come
y viene una y se te pega
and a female comes close to you and says,
y te dice,
ten
cuidado,
be careful,
que era un mujeriego.
because he was a womanizer.
Tú le oras a Dios.
Do you pray to God?
Tú oras.
Yes, I pray to God.
Pues entonces Tú lo que le tienes que decir a esa mujer
What
es,
you have to say to that woman is,
¿y tú y yo qué éramos?
and you and I, what were we?
No, para que confronte a la otra persona.
No, so that she could confront the other
No, yo voy a
person.
orarle a Dios.
No, I'm going to go and pray to
Él pudo
God.
haber sido el hombre más malo.
He could have been the worst man.
Matón, adicto, alcohólico,
A murderer,
mujeriego.
an addict, an alcoholic, a womanizer.
Porque muchas se
Because
han dejado
many
llevar en la iglesia
have allowed
por el
themselves to be
bombón
taken,
y
you
hoy
know, in
están
the church by the one
chupando
that was very sweet, but today
jengibre.
they're sucking on ginger.
Ahora, este no sabe igual.
Oh, he doesn't taste the same no more.
Nena, porque lo que miraste fue el bari.
Honey, because all you looked at was
Miraste
at the
el
body.
game.
You looked at the game
No
that he
pudiste
had.
discernir.
You weren't able to have discernment.
Porque ese está disfrazado.
Because that one was
Ese no había
disguised.
cambiado.
That one had not changed.
Así pasa también con mujeres.
And that also happens with women.
Te metiste un cuadrangular.
You hit
A home run.
a home run.
Metiste un honrón con 3 envases.
You hit a home run with 3 on base.
Estabas bateando por 800.
You were batting to the 800s.
Ahora está en 260, no da hit.
Now you're in 260. You don't give any hits.
Lleva 100 ponches cogidos.
You have striked out 100 times.
Oh, ¿por qué,
Oh,
pastor?
why, pastor?
Porque no te pusiste a orar.
Because you didn't start praying.
Y le miraste el...
And you only looked at,
Miraste cómo caminaba.
you looked at the way she
Cómo se
walked,
veía.
how she looked.
¡Qué belleza!
What a beauty.
Esto es la mejor.
She's the
Esta es la
best.
que hay.
She's the one.
Chupa jengibre ahora.
And now you have to suck on the ginger.
Tuvo que venir un hombre de Dios.
A man of God had to
Y
come.
aquellos eran de Dios.
And they were
Pero
of
le
God.
faltaba
But they
algo.
were lacking something.
Aclarar sus
had to
pensamientos.
make their
Cuando
their
tú
thoughts
vienes a
clear.
Cristo.
When you come to
Cuando tú
Christ.
estás lleno.
When you are
Cuando
full.
tú caminas
When you
en Él.
walk in Him.
Ay, 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 ay. Tienes que aprender a mirar la gente en el espíritu.
You have to learn how to look at the people in
Eso
the
no
spirit.
quiere decir que no pueden fallar.
That does not mean that
Eso
they
no
cannot
quiere
fail.
decir que
That
tú
does
te
not
dejes coger
mean
de bobo.
that you're going to
No.
allow yourself to be taken for a
Pero
fool.
tienes
No.
que, si te dice que estás lleno,
But if they tell you that he is full or she is full,
mira esto, mira esto.
look at this.
No saben que los malvados no heredarán el reino de Dios. Eso es Pablo.
That's Paul.
No se dejen engañar. Ni los fornicarios, ni los idólatras, ni los adúlteros, ni los sodomitas, ni los pervertidos sexuales.
Or do you not know that wrongdoers will not inherit the kingdom of God? Do not be deceived. Neither the sexually immoral, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor men who have sex with men.
Entonces, ¿de dónde diablo saca la gente
So where do the people get from
que Dios hizo al homosexual?
that God created homosexual?
¿De dónde saca la gente que Dios hizo la lesbiana?
Where do the people get from that God created the
Si no
lesbians?
se arrepienten,
If
van
they do
para el
not
infierno.
repent, they're going to hell.
Ellos nada más no.
Not only them,
Todo lo que dice ahí.
everything else that it says there. And
Sí,
that's
no
1
cambiemos una cosa
Corinthians
con
6.
la otra.
9.
Porque entonces si podemos practicar el homosexualismo,
So let's
podemos
not change one
practicar
thing
el
for another.
adulterio.
Because if we can practice being homosexual,
Podemos
we can
convertirnos en
practice being
borrachones,
adulterers, we can practice being
En
drunk,
fornicarios,
and
en
fornicators,
mentirosos.
and liars.
Porque a todos nos creó Dios.
Because we were all created by God.
Una cosa es que Dios te creó
One thing is that God created
y
you,
otro es lo que tú quieras practicar.
and another thing is whatever you want to practice.
¿Sí o no?
Yes or no?
Entonces, seamos mansos, iglesia.
So let's be meek,
Ay, pastor, pero
church.
usted no ha sido tan manso ya
Oh,
cejando.
pastor, but you have not been that meek
No, eso
now
es lo
that
que
you're
dice la
closing.
palabra.
No, well, that's what the word says.
Mira a alguien y dile,
Look at someone and say,
si ya eres lavado con la sangre
if you have been cleansed by the
y
blood
justificado con el nombre del Señor,
and justified with the name of the Lord,
entonces vivamos por el Espíritu.
let's live by the Spirit then.
Vivamos por el Espíritu.
Let's live by the Spirit.
Porque el problema es,
Because the problem
a mí
is,
la gente me ha dicho, oye, ¿por qué tú le das tanta oportunidad a esta gente?
the people have said to me, why do you give these people so many
Mira,
opportunities?
esos son los que a veces tú tienes que bajar la guardia y que la carne no se te trepe.
Look, those are the ones that sometimes you have to put your guard down and not allow the flesh to rise in you.
Bueno,
Brothers,
porque yo no fui que morí en la cruz.
because I was not the one that died on the cross.
Mi trabajo es decirte lo bueno y lo malo.
My job is to tell
Tú
you
lo
what is good
corriges.
and bad. You
Si
correct
cuando él
it.
venga
If when he comes
y Manny está haciendo algo,
and Manny is doing something,
yo se lo dije.
I'm going to say, I told him.
El Señor va a decir, bien hecho.
The
Yo se
Lord
lo
is going to
dije.
say, very well done. You said it to
Pero yo
me.
no soy quien para condenar.
But I am not who to come and condemn
Yo no
him.
soy quien para decirle este se va para
I am not who to say,
Yo
oh,
te
he's
puedo
going
decir
to
los que van
hell.
para el infierno.
I can
Los
tell you
que
the
él
ones that are
coja
going
en
to
esas
hell.
condiciones.
Those that he catches in those conditions.
Pero no puedo decir tú
But I can't say you
vas para el infierno.
are going to hell
Porque no me toca a mí.
because that's not
Ni
for me to do.
tampoco.
And it's not
No,
neither.
Dani sí se salva, él va
Oh
para el
yeah,
cielo.
Danny is going to be saved.
No,
He's going to
tampoco.
heaven. No,
Mi
not
hijo
that
sí.
neither.
Mi hijo
Oh
ese
yes,
va
my
derechito para el
son,
cielo.
my son is going straight to heaven. No,
Los arreglos los tiene que hacer él con Dios.
he has to fix things with God.
¿Sí o no?
Yes or no?
Entonces, ¿qué vamos a hacer? Y con esto terminamos
So what are we
entonces la
going to do?
mansedumbre.
And with this, we're going to finish the part of the meekness.
Aprenda a tener pensamientos profundos de Dios,
You
no
have to learn
carnales.
how to have deep thoughts of God and not carnal ones.
Cuando tú tienes un osterizer en tu cabeza,
When you have a blender in your head,
que hoy hablas de Dios, pero mañana no confías en nadie.
that today you talk about God,
Hermano,
but tomorrow you don't trust
usted está en
anybody.
dos aguas.
Brother, you are in two waters.
El pastor Dios lo usa
The pastor is
Hasta
used by God until
que me dé un azote con sal.
he is very hard on me and he
Se van
scolds
para la
me
casa enchismados.
because they'll go home upset.
Lo dijo por mí.
He said it because of me.
Él sabía que yo estaba así.
He knew that I was like
qué
that.
bueno
Well, how
que te
good
diste cuenta que lo
that you
dije por ti
noticed
para
that
que
I
te
said
corrija.
it
Más claro
because of
todavía
you,
está.
so that you could correct yourself. That's even more clear.
No hay excusa.
There's no excuse.
Presta atención
Pay attention
lo que Dios te está diciendo.
of what God is saying.
Presta atención
Pay attention
lo que el Señor quiere decirte en esta hora.
of what the Lord wants to say to you in this hour.
Mansedumbre.
Meekness.
Mira, es más fácil ir a predicar a otro lado.
Look, it's easier to go and preach somewhere else.
Es como cuando tú regañas a tus hijos.
It's like when you scold your children.
Ellos saben toda tu gandinga.
They know everything you do.
Es más fácil regañar al del vecino
It's easier to scold the neighbor's kid
que regañar a los propios tuyos.
than to scold your own children.
Así de fácil es esto.
That's how easy this is.
¿Qué vamos a hacer, iglesia?
So what are we going to do, church?
Vamos a creerle a Dios.
Let's believe God.
Vamos a ser mansos de
Let's be
verdad.
meek, truly meek.
Ya te dije, no es que te dejo el de bobo.
I already told you, it's not that you're going to allow others to take you for a fool.
No tiene que ver nada eso.
It doesn't have to do with any of that.
Lo que tiene que ver es
What it has to do with is
que tú cumplas con la palabra.
you fulfilling with the word.
Defectos, errores,
Defects
faltas,
and
vamos a
mistakes,
fallar.
faults
Toditos.
that we're going to fail, we're all going to fail.
Toditos.
All of us.
Pero lo importante es que
The important thing is
entendamos la palabra.
for us to understand the
Por
word.
eso yo siempre le digo.
That's why I always say,
Es más, yo le voy a decir más.
I'm going to tell you even more.
Escúcheme esto.
Listen to this.
Y hoy se lo voy a confesar,
And today
pero
I'm going to
con
confess it.
seriedad.
But seriously,
Yo le estoy orando a Dios.
I am praying to God.
Si esto de las reuniones yo lo voy a continuar.
If this of the meetings, I'm going to continue.
Yo he llegado a un punto
I've made it to a
que he
point
entendido que yo doy aquí enseñanza.
that I've understood that I give teachings
Desde el
here
más chiquito
from the youngest
hasta el más viejo.
all the way to the
Si no
oldest.
lo quieren agarrar,
If you don't want to grab
es porque
that,
no quieren cambiar.
it's because you don't want to change.
Porque no quieren.
It's because you don't want to.
Entonces, ¿para qué yo tengo que estar
So why do I have to be
reuniéndome en consejería
having meetings and counseling
cuando tú puedes cambiar?
when you could change?
¿Sí o no?
Yes or no?
Estoy orándole a Dios
I'm
fuerte.
praying to God very hard.
Porque muchos de ustedes vienen a mí a pedir consejos después que hicieron lo que yo les dije que no hicieran.
Because many of you come to me to seek for advice after you did what I told
Entonces
you
usted no
not
está
to do.
buscando consejos.
So you're not seeking for
Usted quiere
advice.
sacarse la pena para afuera
You just want to take
y
out the pity
sentirse no culpable
and not feel guilty
porque yo le dije que no lo hiciera.
because I already had told you not to do it.
Porque si tú de verdad me haces caso, no
Because
hagas lo
if
que
you
te dije que no
truly
hiciera.
pay attention to what I say to you, you would not do
No
what I
tome
told you
esa
not to do.
decisión.
Don't make that decision.
Y tú vas a ver
And you're going to see.
que, mira, cuando tú aprendas.
Look, when
escúchenme
you
ustedes
learn,
cuatro que están aquí, voy a hablar a
you
ustedes,
four
para no
that
mirar
are
para allá,
here,
para que no
I
se
don't
me
want to look
ofendan allá.
over that way because I don't want anybody
Cuando
to
la
be
gente
offended.
aprende
When the people learn
a respetar
to respect
a un pastor espiritualmente,
a pastor spiritually,
tendrán éxito.
they will have success.
No al hombre Ricky,
Not the man, Ricky,
al hombre espiritual.
the spiritual man.
Tienes que dejar eso.
You have to stop that
Sin cuestionar,
without
sin
questioning,
preguntar.
without asking
Usted lo
anything.
dice.
You're
Y
saying
usted
it,
esto me está haciendo daño a mí.
and this is
Lo voy
being
a dejar.
damaging to me, I'm going to let go
Porque
of it.
cuando yo le diga que usted tiene que dejar algo,
Because when I say that you have to let
es
go of
porque ya yo le
something,
oré a Dios.
it's because I have already prayed to God.
Sí, órele a Dios.